Recently, I felt this deep and almost aching for something just out of reach. Just out of reach every single time. Whether it's from the beauty perspective or success or something, I'm chasing something that's just right there, but it's really not at the same time. And I've realized that this thing that we are going to get into has seeped into pretty much every single corner of my life as of late. I believe life comes in waves. You can be on top of this wave, riding it, everything seems so perfect and so amazing. And yet that wave won't always be there. You know, you'll have to go back and you'll have to catch the next wave. This thing I have realized really has killed my drive, killed my dreams. I believe that this thing is in all of us from time to time, especially when we are doing things out of our comfort zone. That is when it really comes out. So what is this thing that kills our dreams? One word. This thing is called perfectionism. So I just want to sit with these feelings for a second and almost dive into my patterns as well as what I and we can do to help this. I don't even want to call it a problem, but just help this aspect of life that everyone's going to deal with. Whether it be perfectionism in business, perfectionism in physical appearance, or goals, or anything. I'm going to dive into it all. So I love going into my journal and seeing where I've dealt with this before and where kind of my mindset was on this. October 24th. I slept in again this morning and I broke the promises I've made to myself like I've done many times before. It never feels good. I put together a whole plan to change my life, just to not follow through with what I said. New Year's is fast approaching, and I haven't made or reached my goals yet. That's never a good sign of growth. But also, I wonder what the metric is for that. What is the metric of growth? I believe there's probably something more to it. I'm not really sure. It's exhausting to try and feel pretty all the time. To try and work to feel pretty all the time. Our hormones, as girls, give us 1 week to feel good about ourselves and then it rips it away from us. Women's bodies are truly weird. Honestly, the Barbie movie was so interesting. I might watch it again. That whole monologue she has about perfectionism really hit it on the head. So I just want to talk about the cost of this, the cost of perfectionism, real fast, and then we're going to get into ways of helping it. I feel like, at least for me, I've lost opportunities and experiences because of it. Whether it was because I didn't feel like my body was good enough to go out and play that sport or wear that outfit and feel beautiful, or this podcast. It's crazy, you guys, because I am filming this the day before this episode is supposed to air. Okay, that is one, it's called actually procrastination, but two, it really comes down to perfectionism, because I sat there and I'm like, what am I going to talk about this week? Who cares about what I have to say? So many other podcasts are out there. So many other people have things to say. I don't have an amazing studio or a place to film. The list goes on and on as to why I almost didn't film this and allowed those voices in my head to win, simply. And I feel like that's a huge loss, a huge, huge loss for me and for people listening. Who knows? I feel like also when you focus on your problems, they only grow. So especially when it comes to perfectionism, if you're focusing so much on becoming perfect, you're just going to move the goalpost farther and farther and farther away. Oh my gosh. And this also comes into dieting, because for those of you who don't know, I'm actually a personal trainer. And one, if you guys want to know more like health and kind of fitness tips, let me know and I can do a video on that. But let's say you're doing perfect the whole day, you're doing perfect. And then something happens, you eat a little more than you're supposed to, or you didn't do that workout you're supposed to. So then you just decide to stop the diet altogether and maybe wait till next month or next year. or start on Monday again instead of just getting right back into it. That is the cost of perfectionism. It's killing our dreams. It's killing our goals. Ugh, it's so hard. The amount of times I've sat in this bed, for those of you who are listening and not watching this video, totally fine. But the amount of times I've sat in this bed and thought about all of the things that I could be doing, but I didn't feel good enough to be doing those, or someone's already doing it better than me. And the perfectionist in me just killed it all. Who knows what could have been or could have, gosh, I don't even know. So anyways, how do we combat this, you guys? How have I combated this in the past? It's always come down to essentially this one idea. It's the practice of acceptance. And I believe every single time I've just allowed myself the space to mess up, to not know it all, to be vulnerable enough to maybe tell someone else or ask someone else for help. It's always been the best thing for me. And I've always been able to move through these feelings. Every single time I've done that and I've really sat there, all I've had for myself is empathy. And I've been able to sit there and realize how hard I've been on myself. I think the biggest thing to squash perfectionism is acceptance plus action. It's almost like an equation, okay? You accept that you are where you are and you're doing the things that you're doing. Then you add it with the action, especially the daily little actions. And whether you mess up, you fail, or you hit those goals, you're doing it from a completely different place and you're not stagnant. I feel like the times that I've felt these strong feelings of perfectionism the most is when I've been the most stagnant in my life. And when I haven't tried things, I've just thought about trying things. And then I've thought about 10,000 reasons why I couldn't do the things instead of just trying to do the things. But it's really a reminder to myself as well as you guys to keep going, even if it's not perfect, even if you don't have the right equipment or the right people or the right anything. If you keep doing the little actions every single day and trust in that, it'll work out. Things will fall into place, even if you can't see it, even if you can't feel it. I think that's what I've decided, is just I'm doing it anyways, and it doesn't have to be perfect at all, ever. So I encourage you guys to think about one thing this week that you've been just a little too rigid about, okay? Whether it's been a creative project you've had or a relationship. I know there's probably gonna be one thing that you know, and just let loose a little bit. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm literally going to edit this and post this right now because I procrastinated because of perfectionism, but it's okay. It's okay, everybody. And until next time, bye.